Happy Tuesday. Welcome to week 4. The only work on our plate this week is writing essay 1. The last couple of weeks we've talked about various sort of levels of analyzing poetry, and now this essay is the opportunity to just sort of throw that all in one place and see what we've learned, not just about um, analyzing poetry, but writing about our poetry analysis. Making points and backing that up by pointing to moments from the text. So we have been talking about a handful of different things, but basically the task of analysis for this essay is twofold. Everything is sort of outlined in the prompt for the essay. Begin your essay, at least the body of your essay, with just a broad sort of statement of summary of what actually happens in the poem, and what the general vicarious experience that the poem is trying to evoke is. And then you're looking at basically two different things. One is what the poem is supposed to bring to mind, which again speaks to that vicarious experience, but more of a deep reading in terms of imagery and symbolism. And then how the poem is meant to sound when read. And so that's the organizational aspects of it. That's how the poem is metered, how the lines are broken up, how the repetition or stanza crafting is impactful in what the poem is trying to do. And then the elevation of the syntax, the peculiarities of the language, anything that is more prominent in the way the poem sounds as opposed to how the poem looks on the page or what it brings to mind per se. And so fortunately, every one of these poems has a video where you can actually hear the poet read the poem and how it is meant to be sound. So if you're just sort of reading the poem by itself and haven't watched the video, go ahead and check that out. You don't really need to focus on the video's content, however. I will go ahead and warn. It's not necessarily about the tone of his voice, but in reading it, it can give you or in listening to the poet read the poem, it'll give you an understanding of what the language on the page is doing, and therein you can begin your analysis. So it's those two levels: what it brings to mind and how it sounds when read. We have been practicing on a number of various poems in our discussion posts. In the videos, we've been talking about Paul Laurence Dunbar's Sympathy. There is a sample essay. I don't know if it's tricky to find. Some people have asked where it is, but there's a sample essay on sympathy in course content along with the prompt and the notes. So if you haven't checked that out, it is linked in the announcement just below this video, as is a secondary essay that isn't about a poem we've discussed, but just for the sake of giving you another example of just what the target you're trying to hit is like, beyond the execution of just the poetry analysis. I expect that as people who have passed English 1010, most of the other aspects of writing an essay are second nature to you now. We're still putting emphasis on solid thesis statement, topic sentence, relationship, good overall organization and flow of thought, good intros and effective conclusions, a works cited page, of course, citing your poem. I don't really mind if you cite the poetry.org website or if you look up the original publication. Either one really counts for me in terms of this. And then just, overall essay formatting and all that good stuff that you learned in 1010 and that somebody has vouched that you have internalized, at least partially. So if there are any questions about this throughout the week coming up, just let me know. The essay is due Sunday night, just like all our work. I will post material on essay 2 when we start class on Monday, or when the week begins on Monday, I should say. And we will be done with poetry and we'll move on to short stories and literature. So Those of you who are looking forward to something maybe a little bit more straightforward, although everything we learn about poetry we're going to apply to our reading of literature as well. So good luck on this essay. Let me know how I can help. If there's any confusion about the assignment, just shoot me an email, and otherwise, enjoy the rest of your week. Have fun writing. Due Sunday.